Hello, everyone, and welcome to another news roundup with the best boys, GetSelious SithScott. Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Pretty good. We got an interesting news roundup this time around, as we always do. Scott, why don't you start us off?
Alrighty. So, starting off with Kingdom Gun, an indie game that has now a release date of March 25th.
Have you played the Kingdom Gun demos?
I have not actually.
Kingdom Gun is an action shooter roguelike game similar to Risk of Rain 1, where it's two-dimensional, everything's randomized, you run through portals and stuff to kill bosses, get upgrades. Similar to Risk of Rain 1, you have multiple characters that are playable and play with skill set and different moves that go along. You can play with an Afro Priest who shoots gold guns. You can play with the main character, the Storm Knight, who shoots electricity. You can play with Panda that gets a bazooka. You can play with...
That's the one to play.
Yeah. You can also play a princess that shoots slime and turns into a bat and shoots poison. So far in the various demos I played, there was only 4 characters playable. And I got around maybe like loop 4, loop 5 a couple of times on each run. It's a very fun game. It plays on pads, so that's good for me, and the controls are pretty smooth. I do not believe. So the game coming out on March 25th. So if you like action roguelikes and you really enjoy Risk of Rain 1 type gameplay, and you have that itch, I recommend Kingdom Gun. It's pretty fun in that aspect.
Good to know. The trailer looks like it has some fun-looking level designs.
It does. It's like your platform between places, you can shoot up, but it's similar to Risk of Rain 1 and Risk of Rain 2, the more time you spent playing the game, at least a run, the more difficult it becomes. It starts off easy, but if you're like 5-10 minutes in, it gets harder and harder. So it puts it, much like Risk of Rain, how much time you're going to spend on trying to grind to get level ups or grind to get the treasure versus jumping to the new arena.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, and with that, I guess there's another game that's soon to be released, am I right? On March.
Yes, this next one is on also March 25th, called Hack and Slime.
Yeah, Hack and Slime, the demo for it is actually be released on it. Hack and Slime, as I've seen on Twitter by the developers, they've been posting it. It looks like an action adventure simulator where you kill slimes, and the pixel artwork of the game is actually phenomenal. When a demo is released, hopefully on time and everything, I guess if we have free time, I guess we'll put a gameplay video of it. But other than that, all I've seen is clips and the videos of it on Twitter by the developers. I'm excited to see what this game is about.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it actually the game itself is in September, and the demo is in March. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good to know.
Yeah. And with that out of the way, speaking of things to work up on, Scott, did you hear about Sega opening a new studio?
I heard snippets about it, but I actually didn't read too much into it. So they started to open a Sapporo Studio?
Yeah, Studio Sapporo. This studio will be responsible for programming, quality control, and debugging titles. So Sega has finally joined the 21st century and now has a quality assurance. No more glitches in my Sonic games. We finally did it, boys. We're moving on up.
Oh, I wonder how Sonic 06 would have gone through with this.
I do expect more glitches. I expect the Sega game had glitches and whatnot, but it seems like they're focusing a lot on the quality control games due to the success of many of their games recently, such as Yakuza 7 being successful, people playing Lost Judgment being successful, and other titles that are being published through their name. And speaking of Judgment, the sequel to Judgment, Lost Judgment, the Kaito Story File expansion DLC will be released on March 28th. So for those who can't get into Kaito, who's voiced by Crispy Freeman in English, or sometimes I like to call him Crispy Free Fries, nice guy, you'll be playing. There'll be the Kaito DLC storyline. So I wonder if this mode will let you play as Kaito, or look more into Kaito's past when he's part of the Matsugane family, because he is former Yakuza. So maybe you'll look into him being Yakuza. I'm personally very excited for this because I'm a huge fan of Yakuza games and Judgment as well.
Yeah, I've played the Yakuza games, but I actually haven't played the Judgment games yet.
Judgment's a little more action-based, but it's still pretty fun. My only complaint is the first Judgment game. Yagami isn't the most likable protagonist as compared to Kiryu or Ichiban or even Majima or any of the protagonists from Yakuza. Yagami isn't the most I would say expressive compared to the characters. Like, Kiryu is aware the world he lives is ridiculous and these things happen. Yagami's like, whatever. Why is this happening to me? He doesn't engage as much as compared to the other characters. That's the only complaint in the first game. He's much better in the sequel game, Lost Judgment. But I just still recommend judging anybody. The controls are excellent. The combat is very smooth. In the first game, get two styles, Tiger and Crane, which is really dope. And like I said, the combat's great. The story's actually pretty well done. Lots of twists and turns.
Yeah, I heard that it's more like a more detective oriented than like Yakuza ones, which are usually, well, at least the Kiryu Yakuza ones that are mainly just more action in the sense of Kiryu just going on to basically take on the entire Yakuza himself all the time.
Well, you do solve why they want to beat up Kiryu. That's the best way to describe it. But yeah, there's detective moments. Like the best way to describe Judgment is that it's a beautiful love child between the drama of storytelling that you love in visual novels and Ace Attorney, and strong action games like Devil May Cry and the Yakuza games you played prior. It's a very beautiful love child there. There are some obviously flaws in it, but it's beautiful. And because of the Sapporo Studio that Sega's opened up, I can see Sega pushing out more titles with much more consistent quality across the board.
Yeah, hopefully it does add a little more polish to some of the games, because I'm sure more polish is always helpful.
Definitely. And speaking of things that'll be helpful, I take it if you heard recently, EVO 2022, they announced all their games in the lineup, at least for the main stage games.
They did, actually. I do remember reading about that.
Yeah. So people may know, EVO is a fighting game tournament that's for the FGC that pretty much it goes on the way it is. So pretty much they support multiple fighting games for any genres. And basically, the lineup this year has been decided as Street Fighter V Championship Edition, Guilty Gear Strive, Mortal Kombat 11, Tekken 7, King of Fighters 15, Melty Blood Type Lumina, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and Skullgirls. These are the 9 games chosen.
I was really surprised about Skullgirls, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm a little iffy on the Skullgirls thing. It has a good netcode, people play it. But I feel the legacy of Skullgirls is tarnished a little bit because of if you weren't unaware of the ownership of the, not the creator of the game, but like the guy put himself in front of it, Michael Zamont. He's, put it politely, he's a piece of shit. From verbal harassments to how training struck as well to just generally not being a good person. A lot of those people left and made a new studio, and they're doing all right. But I know he doesn't receive money for the game anymore. I know they moved on from it, and they removed his name from the game as well. I just don't feel comfortable supporting a game with his involvement in it because at the end of the day, he was responsible in production of it in some degree. So I just don't feel responsible. That's my complaint about Skullgirls. But it is a fun versus type game if you're into that, if you like the game like that. But it's very rough. The only thing I find interesting though is that some people are a little upset about Smash, the Super Smash Brothers not being in the lineup as all. Put it lightly, Nintendo Senpai is not the greatest when it comes to allowing other people to make content for them. That's not them. So basically, there could be an issue with who they partner with, etc. But they just didn't give the okay to the EVO staff, and they were like, nope, that was it, not happening. So it is what it is. I mean, they were at EVO prior years, so
yeah, I mean
and even then it was rough.
But I think that the Smash Brothers community will still be thriving by itself anyway.
More or less, as long as you don't get DMCA'd, you know. Oh man, the way I had this insane fear that Nintendo if someone made a Nintendo Smash tournament and that tournament raises, let's say, a good like $25,000, and Nintendo caught wind of it, they're in trouble. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do. And then there's a healthy growing Smash community that plays this game, that enjoys it for everything aspect of it, good or bad. It's just a shame that they won't be included in Evo, and it's mostly Nintendo being Nintendo, and it could be a bunch of Nintendo being Nintendo, and Evo can't do anything about it unless they want to get hit with those good old lawsuits. So which game? Yeah. So which game in the lineup are you currently you're looking forward to seeing? Particularly, you're gonna be following it during the Evo lineup.
Honestly, I've always been a big fan of the Fighterz game, but that's just because I'm more of a casual, and Fighterz is more of a casual experience in comparison to some of these more, I guess, competitive scenes. So it is kind of so cool to see like a more competitive scene to Fighterz.
Well, Dragon Ball FighterZ always has been a competitive scene. You have tons of top players who still play it. Like I think Hook and God still play it. I think Tatsuko still plays the game from time to time. I think I've seen him on stream playing it. It'll be interesting who comes out the woodwork this time around. The games I'm looking forward to is Guilty Gear Strive and King of Fighters 15. I do want Tekken 7. I'm interested in that to see who comes out, because Tekken has a very vibrant community of people and who could be very strong and come over there. And though I did not give Melty Blood type Lumina any like love or particularness, because the game just felt off to me, it wasn't my cup of tea. I'm interested to see what their top 8 looks like and how the game looks at a high level. I'm hoping for Grand Blue Fantasy. I played it a little bit, but I haven't played it much to give it more appreciation. I know that at the time Grand Blue Fantasy was very, very, very expensive to play, because they never had a sale, and they charge you per every DLC pass. At the time, each DLC pass was roughly between $20 and $30. So you bought the base game, which was roughly $50 or $60, and then every DLC pass is like $20, $30 on top of it. So you're paying like over. It was expensive as the gacha game itself.
That makes sense.
Right, but recently they did make a super complete pack you can buy on Steam digitally and PSN digitally, where you can buy the basic set, which has the basic character set, which is like I think $20, and you can buy all the characters DLC added to the game, with the final character, with all the DLC characters, etc., for like $50. So I think it's a good deal. If you're interested now, check out that version and get it if you want to get all the characters. I might try the game out if anybody knows how to run the game on Steam well, because I heard that the game has some crashing issues Steam from time to time. But if everyone knows how to make the game run properly on Steam, I'll give it a try and give it more thought. Because I usually, when I played Grand Blue, I only played it when it was at my local tournament scene. So when someone brought up localies, I would play it a bit. And I only played at the time, I played Meteora, the fox girl shoot bows and arrows. So that's my take about it. So with that, Scott, so you're only looking for the Dragon Ball? Any other fighters you ever, not even if you played, like you like watching?
I'm trying to think of all the ones that I've watched I mean, I do like some of the characters in Grand Blue Fantasy, but that's just because I've played the gacha game.
I see. And is this a cry for help? Have you lost the spiraling of life? Is your wallet safe? You know?
No, my wallet's never safe. I need to stop, putting it on my actual phone so that I can stop buying stuff for Dokkan Battle.
Oh, Los.
Overall, I do like some of the characters that are in Grand Blue Fantasy. I am interested in seeing how King of Fighters 15 goes. I'm also interested in seeing Mortal Kombat 11, just because I know that it's a mixed bag in terms of what people like or dislike about Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah. I feel like when it came to Mortal Kombat 11, it's like people really, really love Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 10 because Mortal Kombat 10 was bonkers, right?
Yeah.
But Mortal Kombat 11 just seems so tame, and it's I know they try to slow it. The developers try to make it more footsie based, like a little more like Street Fighter ish, but it doesn't feel that way. As well as like they don't answer. Like I believe one that people complained about was the breaker, the spin away. Like if you spin away in the air,
yeah,
it just stops the whole flow, you know. And like the offensive defensive bar, or how like certain fatal blows or fatal counters,
fatal blows, I think.
Fatal Blows is the super. Anyway, the counter, the super counter you get when you see the skull happen, right?
Yep.
They each, not everyone has equal that type of move, and from what I've seen people complain about it, some people have insane conditions to do it.
Yeah. And there's some people who just have really easy ones like freaking Sub-Zero.
Exactly. So that's probably where most of the contention comes from. I hope, this is my honest opinion for NetherRealms, when they make Mortal Kombat 12, they learn from this game, make it engaging. I think people just want to play a bonkers Mortal Kombat game. People want to just go nuts.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, 11's a little more tame and a little more uniform, but I think they did that because of their trying to include as much as they could with character-wise.
Yeah, I mean, we did get John Rambo, so...
Yeah. 10, I think I still play, like, the little better.
Yeah.
But I think that's just because some of the... Like, they added so many new random characters that just kind of added so much fun flair to it.
That's good. Anyway, guys, thank you for checking out News Roundup. So just want to cap it off. Kingdom Gun, a action roguelike game similar to Risk Break 1, has its release date on March 25th, 2022. Hack and Slime, the demo, will be released on March 25th as well. Sega opened a brand new gaming studio, Sapporo Studio, that will be assisting with quality control, debugging, and essentially supporting programs for their main title games. Are interesting. And Sega has announced that the Kaito Files, the Launch Judgment DLC, will be launched on March 28th. So you guys are into Judgment, get into that. And the Evo lineup, once again, for those who love your fighting games like myself, will be getting Evo's lineup will be Street Fighter V, Championship Edition, Guilty Gear Strive, Mortal Kombat 11, Tekken 7, King of Fighters 15, Melty Blood Type Lumina, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and Skullgirls. And with that, that will be the end of this news roundup. If you guys like the content, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow myself, GetSelious SithScott, on our social links below. See you guys in the next one.
See ya.